Why aren't there many protests for the freeing of American hostages held by Hamas? Every single response keeps missing the actual answer. Elmo. My tax dollars do not fund Hamas operations. This is honestly the first I've heard of American hostages, and I feel I've kept up with the issues in that region for several years better than your average citizen, because a woman I once loved very much was an Arab living in Israel before she came to the States. I'm willing to bet the overwhelming majority of US citizens are unaware. You're welcome to organize a protest if you think there should be one. Actually getting a ceasefire deal is probably the best chance to free the hostages. Hamas accepted a deal to release them recently, but Netanyahu rejected it and said they will invade Rafah anyway. You think Hamas would listen to American protests? If anything, the protests would still be the same anti-Israel ones, as Israel's mindless bombing is going to be the thing that kills more hostages. The government already knows the hostages need to be released. No need for a protest when the authorities already agree with you. I am baffled by the general sentiment young college-going students have about Jewish community and Israel in general. It is not in the distant past when they had to go through something so cruel that even thinking about it makes me shiver. Why so much of hate in general among college-going students? Do they not know that they would have to work tirelessly to even afford a decent life? Someone should really talk to the students and find out what they really want. The brainwashing on that big a scale is not something that should go unnoticed. My good wishes to hostages and their families in this tough time. Be strong. This too shall pass. Because college kids are really dumb. A college kid? The simple answer is the protests are insane rabid leftists who are fully through and through on the side of Hamas. In their eyes, Hamas can literally do no wrong. So when Hamas does do wrong things, they pretend it never happened and look the other way. People on the other side of the issue, those supporting Israel and the American hostages, are, quite frankly, too smart to lower themselves to the level of being protesters. Because these people don't really care. If they did, they would be protesting against Hamas demanding the release of all hostages. They aren't. Their cause is all that matters to them. Israel bad, Hamas good. Too busy demonstrating for Hamas. Why aren't there any protests when Hamas kills Israelis? Will most likely get shot if they are freed. Link https. Protesting is fine. Unfortunately, these same people may not vote. That's the best way for change. IMO some participants protesting the bombs and bloodshed perpetuated by one side would have no problem in the bombing and killing of the side doing the killing, including civilians. A vicious circle. The binary nature of American politics makes it difficult. Calls for the release of hostages are seen as pro-Israel anti-Palestine, just like calls for the end of Israel's bombing campaign are seen as pro-Palestine anti-Israel. Because it doesn't support the leftist political agenda. I've missed this news. Can you explain why they were taken and what's happening with them now? The protesters hate Americans. Because it makes more sense to protest about America's help in the killing of thousands of civilians. I mean, you can go to Gaza to protest that to Hamas.